want to say thank you so much for being patient with me, and congratulations on winning the 1,000 likes drawing. But the past couple of weeks, I've really been struggling financially, been having some issues with family members, particularly my father. Been having a lot of car issues. I'm sure you know minimum wage does not go very far. So I thank you so much for being patient with me, and I am so thrilled to do this reading for you today. I got the feeling as I was picking out crystals and incense and all of that, that the next stage for you is actually going to be not so much easier, but it will be very clear to you that things will be worth the effort and the hardship, if that makes any sense. That's the general feeling that I got. So the spread that we'll be doing is the Soul's Journey spread, as I said in the drawing. And for this spread, I use the Soul's Journey Lessons cards by James Van Praagh, I think is how it's pronounced. I think that's how his name's pronounced. And just a beautiful mandala art style deck. So let me go ahead and show you what else I have out for the reading today real quick. I've already shuffled, so the cards are all ready to do the reading for you. So as always, over here I have my white tea light candle representing spirit, yours, mine, and, great spirit, the divine. Selenite to attract positive energies. Down here I have my spirit quartz for spiritual health, healing, to help the spiritual journeyer. Next to that, I don't think you can see it, but tucked in here I have my beautiful little turquoise to represent the divine. And in front of that, one of my favorite crystals, auricalcite. It's not exactly beautiful, it's not aesthetically pleasing. Well, not as aesthetically pleasing as other crystals, but the power within this crystal is fearlessness. It is the knowledge that fear is the only thing that we truly have to fear. So next to that, I have my pyrite for good luck and good fortune. Back here, black tourmaline to deflect negativity. Next to that, citrine for abundance. And this big one right here is peacock ore. And a lot of people like to use peacock ore for psychism and divination, clairvoyance, all of that fun stuff. But the first time that I held peacock ore, it told me that it was a stone to help with overcoming obstacles, to help you get through the day-to-day obstacles so that you may easier reach your goal. So in front of that, I have my clear quartz crystal for clarity, fluorite for balancing energies, aquamarine for communication. Over here, I have my beautiful green calcite, which is really good for clearing and activating and healing the heart chakra. Because it is a green calcite, yes, it is associated with the heart chakra, but it is also really good for healing ailments in your chest. So if you're like me and you have allergies, or like my mother, she's been a smoker for over 40 years. I gave her one of these crystals to carry around with her so that she could breathe a little easier. It heals the heart, it can help clear out the lungs, pretty much everything that has to do with your chest, indigestion, all of that not so fun stuff. Behind that, I have my rainbow petrified wood for patience. As always, amethyst for psychism and clairvoyance. Back here, I have another one of my favorite crystals, lapis lazuli for truth, obsidian for not only general protection, but I like to include obsidian when I get the message that whoever I'm reading for needs to really just kind of pause for a minute before they make any big decisions and try to consider all of the different outcomes, all of the different rewards and repercussions that could happen based on your decision. So obsidian is good for protection. It's good for forethought and foresight, but it's also really good for divination. Obsidian is one of the best tools that can be used for scrying. So I don't know why I felt I needed to add that to your reading today, probably because of the original message that I got. So I'm really excited to see. I'm almost done here. So next to that, Moonstone for psychism, clairvoyance, divination, feminine power and feminine healing, moon energies. Moonstone is also really good for connecting with intuition and the realm of spirit, particularly the divine feminine. And last but not least, this is one of my newer crystals. I've only had it a couple of months. Fire agate. And fire agate, although again this one is not particularly aesthetically pleasing, the energy in fire agate is more or less the spark of life. And so when you use fire agate, what it does is it kind of reactivates your lower chakras, your root, your sacral, and your solar chakras. It sparks creativity, it sparks passion, it helps you connect with your personal roots. Not just help you connect with the earth underneath you, but with your ancestors, with your living relatives, and with future generations to come. So, like I said, it's basically that spark of life. And so I felt like you really needed that energy to be with you on your journey right now. So, and burning over here in my wonderful recycled wine bottle incense holder, I have what is probably my favorite incense burning, Spiritual is what it's called. And I love this particular incense specifically for its uses in spirit work and spirit healing. And the reading that we're doing today is based on your spiritual evolution. So I thought it would just be very appropriate. So now that we know what is all out here, I will go ahead and start reading. Like I said, I already shuffled the deck. They're ready to start reading for you. So this reading is 9 cards, and the first card is the main theme or focus for your current journey or your current lifetime. And we have regret. Affirmation, I know that I cannot change the past. There we go. So, this is the main theme for where you are in your life right now. I know that between the relationship that you're in now and all of the baggage that came along with that, and then your past relationships, they have kind of left you in a place where you struggle to understand that it's not all your fault. And so you may be regretting decisions that you've made, or, regretting opportunities that you have passed up. Excuse me. And that is actually the main theme, the main focus of your current soul journey, is to overcome, to learn how to overcome feelings of regret, to understand that in every moment of every day, you do the best that you can with what you have and what you know. What you have and what you know, what you understand, is all based on your personal experiences in this life and in past lives. And so, this is probably going to, I haven't gotten there yet, but it's probably going to be linked to the obstacle, the main challenge on your current journey. But I want to remind you, just always remember that the choices that you make and the opportunities that you may decide not to pursue, it's because every moment of every day you do the best you can with what you know, with what you understand at that time, and with what you have at that time. I myself, just for example, I've gotten several invitations to attend a writing conference in New York, but I had to make the decision not to go just because I could not financially afford it. So I mean, that's just an example. So, just kind of keep it in mind. Excuse me. Just kind of keep it in mind that this is the main, the main theme that the main topic, the main lesson that you should be focusing on your current journey right now at this moment. And so our next card is the main challenge or obstacle on your current journey. And we have blame, affirmation, I accept responsibility for my well-being. Like I said, I had that feeling that the first card and the second card were going to be related, and I was right. Based on conversations that I have had with you, I believe that I understand to an extent the kind of person that you are, and we are actually very much alike in that we are people pleasers. We have difficulty saying no. We have difficulty understanding why people might not want our help, or why they refuse to, give us their time, or, whatever it is. And so the main focus for you is learning to overcome regret. But the main challenge is learning to overcome thoughts of blame, self-blame, allowing other people to place blame on you for things that are completely out of your control. For example, your significant other's ex, okay? She, in my mind, she reminds me of several people that I have known in my life. And about 9 out of 10 of those people have been very narcissistic individuals. And so in their mind, there is nothing in the world that they can be blamed for, because nothing is ever their fault, because they are perfect individuals, okay? And someone like you, someone like me, we understand that that is their personal challenge in their life, is overcoming that, I don't know how to say this, overcoming their need to consider themselves right all the time, their need to never be in the wrong. There we go. For example, that is what my father has been doing in the last few weeks. He is not a narcissist by nature normally, but the last few weeks he has been refusing to listen, refusing to act, refusing to make any kind of changes to help himself. And as his daughter, it breaks my heart because I know what a good person he is. And so I do believe that we are very much alike, and so the people that are in your life that you care about, when they cast the blame on themselves, you cannot take it upon yourself because it's completely out of your control. And so that is going to be the obstacle for you in this lifetime, on your current soul journey. Okay, so card 3 represents your birth. So the beginning for you, what was your first lesson on this current journey that you're on? Trust. I accept that my inner voice will always guide me correctly. So again, through various conversations with you, I know that you have difficulty trusting people, and that usually starts at a very young age. But I don't feel that this card speaks so much of literal trust as it does discernment. The first lesson for you was to not put your trust in everything and everyone that comes across your path. That really you should be trusting your own instincts and discerning the truth in every situation. And I know how difficult that is. It took me over 20 years to get to that point, okay? I understand how difficult that is. But the way that this particular reading is designed is to show you what all of your lessons have been, so that you may look back and figure out what it is you have completed and what it is that you haven't completed. And I think that this particular lesson, the very first lesson, is one that you are currently working on, based on conversations that we have had. And so that, in my mind, is a very, very good thing. But when you get to that place where you are able to discern the truth in situations and in people, I think that it will actually be somewhat of a rebirth for you. You will be able to look at the world with different eyes. You'll be able to look at yourself differently. And the decisions that you have or decided not to make in the past, and the decisions you will have to make in the future, you will be so much more comfortable tackling those kinds of decisions. So, alrighty, our next card represents your childhood, or your stage of growth. What was your second lesson on your current soul journey? And we have pride. I love myself and I see myself in everyone. This is actually one of my favorite cards in the deck. Seeing that we live in a mostly Christian society, understanding the 7 sins and the 7 virtues and the 10 commandments and all of that fun stuff has kind of become a daily norm around here. So with that in mind, pride is quote unquote the root of all sin. But on the flip side, pride is also what fuels us to better ourselves and to better our situations, to better our, our living situation for not just ourselves, but for the people that we live with, our children, our spouses, to make the world a better place for our grandchildren and great grandchildren, But when we are young, excuse me, when we are young, pride likes to fool us into thinking that we are it. We are the epitome of power, of glory, of intellect. Pride has a good side, but usually it's viewed in the negative aspect. So this was your lesson as you were growing up, was to kind of try to figure out what it means to have pride in yourself without being prideful. Understanding that everybody is essentially the same, even though we have different hair, different skin color, our eyes are different, the way that we dress is different, the cars that we drive are different, the houses we live in are different. Excuse me. And that is, well, it can be a very difficult lesson for children to learn, and it can be one that sticks with them through their entire life. And so I'm kind of looking at this here. Your first lesson was trust, and your second was pride. So, I'm seeing there's a connection, but I'm not understanding it quite yet. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the next card, which is, it represents your adolescence. So, again, a stage of growth, where you kind of start to mature, and you are given your third lesson. Indecision. I use my intuition in all aspects of life. So, like I said, this first lesson that I got for you was trust, and I didn't feel that it was truly trust, but discernment. And so this indecision, I feel like this is where you ran into problems with your first lesson and possibly your second. Is that indecision, which I know you still have. But please remember that adolescence, our teen years are probably the hardest of our lives, because we are maturing while at the same time still treated like kids in our society, okay? And while we are afforded a certain amount of independence, without being given full independence, we tend to struggle with making decisions for ourselves. Because it's like, okay, well, a year ago I wasn't allowed to do this. Why was that? Okay, that's the reason, so maybe I shouldn't be doing it now. Or, just things like that. And so I really think that this lesson has stuck with you, and I know it's something that you're working on based on conversations that we've had. I know that it's something you're working on. And again, that's a very good thing. So I'm going to go ahead and look through the rest of the cards for you. For a little bit. The next one represents represents the stage of adulthood for you. So, more or less where you're at right now, it's the peak of your growth, and it's the final lesson given to you on your current soul journey. And we have loneliness. I know that I am never alone. So I have drawn this card for myself numerous times, and I always struggle with it. When you first start kind of getting into the realm and the teachings of spirit, one of the first lessons that you are likely to come across is that, or one of the first ideas that you are likely to come across is that you are never alone. Spirit is always with you. Your ancestors are always with you. Your own intuition, your own vibrant spirit is always with you. And it's extremely hard to understand, especially when you reach adulthood, because the stages of growth, you're a child, you're taken care of 100%. Then you go into adolescence where you're given some measure of independence without full independence. And then you go from that into adulthood where you're fully independent, but you're also fully responsible for yourself. There is nobody, no physical person there to help pay the bills, to take care of you when you're sick, to help you change a flat tire. It's all on you. And that tends to leave a person feeling like they are completely alone in the universe. Like there is not a single soul that they can call friend. But the truth of the matter is that you are not any more alone than anyone else around you. When we reach adulthood, it's like there's a switch that goes off, and when it goes off, all of a sudden, I just lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. I completely lost my train of thought. I hate when this happens. It's like the messages come to me so quick that I can't keep up with them. Okay, I'm going to come back to this particular card and see what other messages were here. I know that when we reach adulthood, like I said, it's like there's a switch that goes off inside of us, and all of a sudden we understand that yes, we are responsible for ourselves, but we don't understand that even as adults, it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to say no if somebody comes to you. It's okay. You are responsible for yourself. If you have children, you're responsible for your children. And that's pretty much it. If you are married, again, you're not responsible for that person, but you're responsible for how they spend your money, how they take care of the house that you two share, how they interact with your family and with your friends, that kind of thing. But the message is that you're not alone. You're not any more alone than anyone else in this universe. What I was trying to say, when we reach adulthood, it's like that switch goes off, and all of a sudden we think that we can't trust our instincts. We think that we can't trust the people around us. And in some cases, that's true. But that's where learning discernment and overcoming indecision comes in. Okay, so the next card, is kind of looking into the future. It represents when you reach elderhood. So when you get to be a senior, basically. And it represents at that time what you will have to teach to others, what you will have to give to the people around you. And we have perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. So basically, once you get into elderhood, having gone through all of this that you have gone through and are going through, your message for, generations after is going to be, do not give up. It is worth the effort. It's worth the pain and the tears, and it's worth it to get to that end goal. Do not give up. Persevere. And while that's actually a fairly common message for elders to give, in your case, it's going to be well earned. That particular message, that particular lesson is going to be very much earned. Like I said, when I started picking out crystals and incense and all that, I got the sense that where you are currently on your journey and where you're heading, it's not going to be easy necessarily, but it is going to be worth it. It's going to be worth making necessary changes and making big decisions and, trying to make yourself better while trying to improve your surroundings. So, alrighty. Our next card represents the end of your current journey, which, again, it's futuristic, and it represents what your next journey will begin with. So what is the lesson that your next journey, your next lifetime will begin with? And we have denial. I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. So this is very interesting to me. What I'm feeling right now is that this actually kind of goes against the design of the spread. And so what I'm feeling, what I'm actually seeing while I'm looking at the cards right now, is I'm seeing a circle that represents your current journey. Kind of like the major arcana of the tarot. If you lay them out in a circle, it's a never-ending circle of life. And so this card represents your death, or the biggest change that you are going to make, where your next round, where your next go around the circle will begin, whether that's in this lifetime or the next. Denial is what you're going to have to deal with and what you're going to have to overcome. Denial is, I'm seeing it connected to every single card here, just about. Except for trust and perseverance. I'm seeing a line from this card to every other card. And I'm really not sure what to make of that, other than it's what you're going to have to work on. And I think that you'll know when it happens, if it happens in this lifetime. Otherwise, that's what you will start out with in your next life. Is trying to understand that, as Doctor Who would put it, fear is a superpower. Okay? Denying it actually makes it worse. If you are afraid of something, use that fear to get you to the next level. Use that fear to think more critically, to see more clearly, to hear more clearly, to just become more aware, and, not deny anything that you see, hear, or feel. Do not deny anything that, do not deny any decisions that you have made. That is where your main theme comes in again, is regret. Denial and regret are like this, okay? They're like best buds. And so where you begin, essentially, is where you will end, but on a higher level. And so where you're at, you are actually, what I'm understanding right now is that you are actually on a path of dealing with and healing a series of negative emotions. So indecision, denial, blame, pride, all of that, loneliness, all of that is what you are having to deal with right now in this lifetime. So our final card is your blessing card. So what good will come from taking on this journey and taking on all of these lessons? And we have judgment. I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. So this card actually brings to mind the judgment card from the tarot. So it brings to mind Michael, the Archangel Michael, where basically what it is karma. Karmic retribution, whether it's good or bad. And so your blessing on your journey is basically your experience. It's what you see and learn and hear and feel. And, basically coming to understand the human condition and seeing it in every single person that you come across. For instance, your significant other's ex, okay? I know that there is a general dislike there, but the feeling that I get from you from our most recent conversations is that you are trying very hard to understand where she is coming from and why she does the things that she does. So that way you can try to help the situation in any way that you can. And that is actually a positive step in your karma. That's actually, what's the term I'm looking for? That is a point in your favor. There we go. So, when you go from regret to denial, and you go through all of these different emotions, what you will come to at the end of your journey, your blessing card will be that you will understand better yourself, not just everybody else, but yourself. And you will have more compassion for yourself. And, have a better understanding of where you are and why you make the decisions that you make. Why you say the things that you say, why you act the way that you act, and why you care about things and people the way that you do. Understanding compassion for yourself and having compassion for yourself is one of the greatest gifts that you can give to yourself. Because once you have that compassion for yourself, you will be able to develop it so much easier for other people. And like I said, that is a point in your favor in karma's eyes. So while this card may look like it has negative connotations, I'm telling you, I do not feel any negative energies from this card, or any lower energies from this card. I feel like it's ultimately a good place for you to end up. So let me go ahead and just kind of look this over one more time real quick. See if I get anything else. Okay, so to bullet point the reading, because I'm not really getting anything else. I'm getting the same things that I have been getting. So just to bullet point, where you are right now, you are working through numerous negative emotions, whether they're from a past life or from this life. And so you begin with regret, move through blame and indecision, then through pride and trust, through feelings of loneliness, understanding the meaning of perseverance, and then finally through denial into a place of compassion, of positive self-judgment. So I really hope that this helps you, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Again, I apologize for the wait on this. The last couple weeks have just been so horrible for me that when I get home from work, all I feel like doing is laying in bed. So, I thank you again, and again, I hope that this helps. So, namaste and blessed be.